Welcome back, Guardians. Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. This week sees the PsiOps Moon Battleground activity emerge as the weekly Nightfall, making it the second Battlegrounds activity that has become a featured Grandmaster, with the Mars Seraph Battleground being the first featured in last season's lineup. This week's Nightfall is no joke. It can be quite chaotic at many different segments, but with the right loadouts, the right tactics, and a few workarounds, you can make pretty easy work out of this Nightfall and out of its Grandmaster variation. So today, we'll be covering all of these details to make your clears of the PsiOps Battlegrounds as quick and easy as possible. This week, the Braytech Osprey rocket launcher is the featured reward, and while I wouldn't put away your cold comforts, your Apex Predators, or even the Hothead, this Void rocket launcher is actually surprisingly fun. It can drop with either Envious Assassin or Cluster Bombs in the left column, with either Lasting Impression, Golden Tricorn, Chain Reaction, or Destabilizing rounds in the right column, giving this rocket launcher a few extremely unique and interesting combinations that can provide for some exciting times when clearing through ads. But again, I just don't see this putting out more DPS than the aforementioned rocket launchers. Adept versions of the Osprey can only be obtained through the Grandmaster variant of the PsiOps Battleground, which will also be your best opportunity at acquiring Ascendant Shards. This Grandmaster does include Barrier and Unstoppable champions, along with several Lucent Hive, giving you an ample amount of Revive tokens. You will see all three Lucent Hive classes in this strike, with the Lucent Wizard being the final boss, who will spam every light-based super at you and your team. The most painful of these will be the Storm Trances, since your enemies will receive a bonus in arc damage. So because of that, I would make sure to equip arc resistance mods. This will help against those moths as well. Additionally, solar resistance will be beneficial, since acolytes will leave a scorched area on the ground. Ultimately, there will be a lot of splash damage and area damage that you'll have to deal with, so concussive dampener mods would be a good idea as well. To take on this week's champions and the Lucent Hive more easily, I would recommend the use of exotics like the Wishender, Revision Zero, Ariana's Vow, or Arbalest to handle the barriers, while Leviathan's Breath or Malfeasance will be great for the Unstoppables. Alternatively, Osteostriga, Layman Arc, and the Lumina Hand Cannon can all provide their own unique benefits that can serve you very well in this Grandmaster. Since you will receive an increase in Arc and Void damage, I would recommend Void and Arc legendary weapons like the Targeted Redaction, the Palindrome, or Nation of the Beasts to take on the Unstoppable champions, while there's a slew of solid performing auto rifles that would be great for the barriers. The addition of grenades and grenade launchers that deal blinding or disorienting effects can be immensely beneficial. Strand suspensions will be another fantastic choice this week, but so can stasis. Both subclasses offer amazing abilities towards immobilizing your enemies, but the mixture of the two is volatile and not in a good way. So I would avoid using both of these within your team. Only stick to one. You will receive a few heavy ammo crates throughout this strike, but they provide very minimal ammo, and since Grandmasters can be pretty stingy on ammo, having a fireteam member with Aeons or the Cenotaph Mask can be a big asset towards your ammo economy, since you will be seeing champions and Lucent Hive in every section of this Grandmaster. Warlocks and Titans will both have far more freedom towards build selections in this Grandmaster, since Arc and Void both are getting surged, but Hunters will really want to consider going with an invisible Void build. This will make it so much easier for your team to get through the Tribute encounter and finish off the final boss. Since you do have to finish the ghosts of each Lucent Hive, an invisible Hunter is definitely going to be clutch for your team. There is currently a bug with this Grandmaster that can cause you to miss out on receiving Platinum at the end. To avoid this, be sure that you are defeating all spawned in champions before completing the mechanics of each section. If you complete the objectives before killing the champions, they can actually despawn. When this strike begins, you'll be on the bridgeway, just outside of the Scarlet Keep. You will want to stay back towards the first set of steps and clear through each wave of hive from an extreme distance. This will keep you out of harm's way from those suppression grenades and those annoying charging unstoppable champions. When the large tomb ship arrives, it will start blasting you with void charges, but you can take down the turrets to stop it from firing, just as you can do with the fallen skiffs in the fallen saber strike. This won't show any damage numbers when hitting the turrets, but after enough consecutive shots, they will become disabled and will no longer fire, and this will make the final stretch of this bridgeway much easier. Next up is the Tribute Hall, where you will need to disrupt the ritual by reclaiming burdens of tribute. You'll need 12 total burdens that are only dropped by these yellow bar wizards. These drop like motes and will despawn after a few seconds. So when they drop, you need to be right on it. Once you've collected a burden, it's important that you don't die, because you will lose the burden in the process. Each guardian can hold up to 3 burdens at one time, and each podium requires 4 burdens to be deposited. Each podium will be guarded by waves of acolytes and knights that will never stop spawning, so I find it best to complete each podium one at a time. There will be 2 barrier champions, 2 lucent acolytes, and an unstoppable champion, along with 2 shriekers that spawn at different times. This is why I recommend staying back into the first hallway that you came through to get to this room. Hanging out here prevents you from getting flanked from all of the enemies around the room. You can also get some pretty good angles on all of the wizards and the champions as they spawn in from the safety of this hallway. After you've cleared through all of the tributes, you'll transition towards the final boss encounter. But before you get there, there's one final bridge to cross that will have the final boss, 2 unstoppables, and several rank and file enemies. You'll need to watch out if you hang back here on the bridge, because the Shrieker will continuously spawn in above the bridge itself. This is in an effort for it to force you and your team forward. Once you've downed the champion and weakened the boss, you're onto one of the most chaotic boss encounters that you're going to encounter in a Grandmaster this season. But thankfully, there is a very beneficial cheese spot that you can utilize. Once you've entered the mindscape, you'll be standing on a large circular platform. Instead of running towards the boss arena to find a hiding space in one of the towers, you can actually just hang back here on this podium for the majority of this encounter. This doesn't make you immune from everything, but it does put a substantial distance between you, the boss, and its entourage. You'll actually be too far out of range for many of the enemies to attack you. With that being said, the boss can still send a few pop shots your way, so I would recommend having a rift or barricade ready, just in case. But honestly, since this podium is at an angle and very wide, you should be able to dodge any attacks pretty easily. Using this method is going to cause this encounter to take a lot longer to complete, but I think everyone would agree that after 30 or even 40 minutes to get to this point, the last thing that you want to do is wipe. So you will certainly want to use this as a failsafe. Once the Savathun doppelgangers spawn in and it comes time to use the spears, you can send just one teammate down to grab it, preferably one who has invisibility. Be sure to take down the unstoppable and barrier champions before going down for the spear. There is a time limit on the spears, and you'll likely need 4 to 5 of them to take each of the Savathun doppelgangers down. So when you are handling the spears, it's best to rotate from one side of the arena to the other so that you can utilize the towers for cover. While one teammate is handling the spear, the others should be working at keeping acolytes and any other rank and file enemies away from that player. Once the doppelgangers have fallen, return back to the podium and rinse and repeat the process until this Lucent Hive wizard is vanquished. Once the boss is super low, you'll want to be sure to have someone close and at the ready to finish the wizard's ghost as it dies. Otherwise, it will spawn right back up with about 30% health. And with that, I do believe we've covered everything that you need to know on how to easily get through the PsiOps Moon Battleground while it's the Grandmaster Nightfall, so that you can claim your Conqueror title this season. Whether you're attempting this as a team or as a solo guardian, I wish you all the best of luck this week. Hopefully this video has helped you out. Let me know your thoughts of this Grandmaster and what loadouts you decided on down in the comments below. And if you've got any extra tips or tricks for your fellow Guardians, then be sure to leave those in the comments down below. Thank you as always for checking out today's video. If you did enjoy and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.